Hey guys, I'm Ben,
And I'm Julie.
and somewhere around here is Bella, and we wanted to give you guys a walkthrough of our cabin on wheels. It's a 2020 Tab 400 made by nuCamp.
We ended up getting the 2020 instead of the 2018 and 2019 for a couple of reasons, and we wanted to walk you through that today.
So, starting outside, I think the biggest change is the rear storage bin, or one of the biggest changes is the rear storage bin. What they did in 2020 is they moved the batteries from the outside rear storage bin in the back to under the center of the bed. And what that does is it really opens up the space in the storage bin for you. So you have a lot more usable space in there. At least that's what we found. Continuing around back, we ordered ours with the solar package. It's a 195-ish watt solar panel on the top. It's permanently mounted to the roof. And what I really like about it is that it's nearly invisible. You can't really tell that it's there until you really look for it. We've been pleasantly surprised with it so far with boondocking. We got our batteries down about 35, 40 amp hours.
And then throughout the day, if it was sunny enough, we were able to get back up to 100%.
Continuing on with the solar panels, the default solar charge controller is now a Victron 7515 charger. And one of the things I really like about this Victron charger is that you can connect to it with your phone over Bluetooth using the Victron app. And within the app, you can see the current status of the panel, the current status of your batteries, and then you can also see a history of how much you've charged using your solar panel over the last week or so. And if you're really nosy, you can actually connect to the Victron charge controller with your phone while you're driving down the road and see how your batteries are charging. And then moving on to the driver's side, another big change is that the AC vent is now missing.
Yeah.
So they moved the AC unit from sitting underneath me right now also to underneath the center of the bed. I guess the downside to this is you lose all the center of the bed storage, but you gain all the storage underneath where I'm sitting right now.
And it's really harder to get to under the bed storage in general. When your bed is made, you don't always want to keep picking it up.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's a pain in the butt. It was a pain in the butt to get down there just to show it. So
Yeah.
It's no longer a CoolCat unit. It's a Elwell Air 8. It's made by, I think it's a Truma unit, new unit for the U.S. I think it's a unit that's been in Europe for a couple years now. And then onto the front, we ordered ours with the diamond plate tub. This was an upgrade that we got from nuCamp. It's not the Boondock package, so we don't have that full platform. But the diamond plate tub is a lot sturdier than the fiberglass, and it has plenty of room for a couple propane tanks or all of our cords.
Yeah, and sturdy.
And sturdy. I agree. And then finally, the last thing you can see on the diamond plate hub is we have a weight distribution equalizer hitch set up in there. I'll go through how I had to sort of modify the diamond plate tub to fit that in a future video.
Next, I think we want to move inside the cabin.
Continuing a big change for this year, the AC unit. We'll show you guys where it is underneath the bed. It's a lot lighter than the last unit as well. It's sort of made out of this foam material, I guess. It's not metal outside. So far it's worked well for us. It's got 3 ducted outputs. One is under the bed, one is actually below me right here, and then the third one is behind you, sort of where the one person sleeps in the bed area. One more thing about the Air 8 heat pump unit, unlike the CoolCat was both a heating and cooling as long as you were on AC power. The Air 8 is only cooling. It does not have a heat pump or heating associated with it. So for any heat, we have to use the Aldi system.
Another thing that I really liked about the 2020 tab was actually the new flooring in the tab.
Yeah. Last year and leading up to the 2020s, they had this straw-like flooring material.
Yeah, it was a weave pattern.
And in the 2020s, they've moved to a solid surface material. It cleans really easily. We have a little vacuum in here, or you can just wipe up spills.
Mop it up.
As you saw Bella makes a little bit of a mess when she's camping, so it's a lot easier to clean this stuff up. That was one of the biggest reasons why we got a 2020 over a 2019.
Yeah, and we were able to ask the factory about this upgrade before we ended up putting our order in. Another big change in the 2020 model is actually the bathroom sink.
They switched from the roundish sink that was in the 2018s, 2019s, and they moved to a square sink, which I think is in the Cirrus truck campers and in the upcoming Avia. The best part about the square sink is that it drains. There's no problems. We read a lot of reports that the circular sink had drainage problems. No problems at all with the square sink, so we're really happy with that.
Additionally, the shower wand has been updated.
Yep, it seems to function just the same. It no longer has the on-off switch, but that hasn't been a big deal for us. Otherwise, aside from the square sink and the wand-style shower, not much else has really changed in the bathroom. Speaking of the Aldi unit, it's the same Aldi 3020 radiant heating unit. It runs on both AC and propane. When you don't have AC and you use propane, it does use a little bit of DC power for the pump, but it seems to heat up pretty well. It seems to make hot water perfectly fine for us, especially when boondocking, so we've been really happy with that as well. Over to the kitchen, there's plenty of storage above. We store our plates and then we store our food towards the back end. And on the bottom, another big change that they made, or a small change, I guess, and I think this was a running change in the 2019s, but all the 2020s have it, is that the kitchen sink drain is no longer a P-trap, but it's some sort of linear drain. And the net result of this is you actually have a lot more storage underneath the sink, which is really nice. It's a good upgrade. So we got our Tab 400 optioned with the standard two-way AC/DC fridge.
Yeah.
Something else you can do is you can get the three-way fridge, which replaces the wardrobe off to the right side. We decided that we, one, really like the wardrobe, and two, that the two-way fridge is big enough. It would be nice to have a little more space, but it's a good compromise, we think, between having clothing storage and having the refrigerator.
Yeah, and having the hanging clothing storage is actually quite useful for our trips.
Yeah, very useful.
Yeah. So another thing with the kitchen countertop, it's a nice big countertop with the glass top sink and propane stove area, but the side corner piece does not fold down anymore, so it just stays up at all times. So you have more storage underneath where your bed area is.
Yeah, I think that was a change from the 2019s to the 2020s. That little corner used to fold down. I actually didn't notice that until we were camping with this thing the first time. Now it's just one solid piece going the whole way along. One of the things we really like about the kitchen, just as a thing to point out, is there is more countertop space in this kitchen compared to any other 19, 20-foot travel trailer that we found. We were looking at the Airstreams. We looked at a ton of different models and really amazed at how much counter space they gave you in this kitchen.
Nice.
Yeah, that's probably the most useful thing when we're out there camping and trying to cook inside, is having all that counter space. And then finally onto the front of the camper, which is where we're sitting right here. This is a combined sofa and dinette. We keep ours configured as a sofa almost all the time. Unlike the 2019s, all of the 2020s have the AC/DC charger sitting underneath Julie, so that's moved from towards the back of the trailer towards the front. The net result of that is that this bin no longer opens. It's permanently screwed down. This bin is the bin that opens up for you.
And it's the bigger bin.
Yeah, it's bigger. I think storage-wise, you actually gain a lot by not having this one and having this one over here.
The inverter also has 3 switches this time.
Oh yeah, the inverter. That's another big change. The difference this year is that instead of having one powered plug, you now have 3 powered plugs. So one's underneath the couch dinette, one of them's in the bedroom area, and the other one's in the bathroom. And one of the tricks that you need to learn is if you don't have the inverter on, those plugs won't work. And that means that if you're on AC power, you need to make sure that the orange light is on the inverter. It'll automatically transfer directly to the AC power. But if you have the inverter completely off, those plugs don't work. So I think the first camping trip we went out, we were trying to charge our phones at night.
In the little cubby.
In the little cubby by the bed, and we couldn't figure out why the plugs didn't work, and we were a little disappointed by that. Next night we turn the inverter on, realize everything works. It has an automatic transfer built in, so it's not like you're using DC power, but you just need to make sure the light's on. And I think that's it. We'll give you a little shot of the wardrobe area. Make sure you can see what's in there. Nothing's really changed in there. You have 3 pockets off to the side, 1 big hanging rod. We used the floor space and put some packing cubes on there. Okay, so now I think it's on to our opinions. We've owned this unit for a little less than a month now, and we've used it on 3 trips. So we've had a little bit of time to work with it. We'll give you guys a 6-month review once we actually have a lot more time with it, probably after the summer. But Julie, what do you think so far of it?
I love it. It's just the perfect size for the 2 of us and the dog. We can get around easily. We have a little toaster oven set up to pull out when we're ready to cook in here, or we just cook outside and do a fire pit for now. And it's a good bathroom size. The pull-down sink, it seems to drain fine for us. We've had no problems with that. And once we figured out the inverter situation, we have no problems with the plugs.
Yeah, I think we heard some complaints about the 2019s. So far, those have all been somewhat neutralized on the 2020s. Speaking onto the size, it really is a great size. It's really easy for us to tow, which is really important for us. We live in the Pacific Northwest, which means we live next to the Cascades, and we tow this with a Toyota Tacoma. And it goes up and down the mountain passes with no problem. I was a little worried about maneuvering around both the mountain passes and in the city that we live in, and it's been great. So that's been a big plus for us. I'm also pleasantly surprised with the amount of storage. We started out by putting all of the camping stuff into the back of the truck. Over every single trip, we've slowly started putting the power cords and the water cords and the blocks and the chocks and everything into the back storage bin or into the tub up front. And by now, the truck bed's actually almost empty.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised with the amount of storage that's in this unit, considering it's really 2 outdoor areas that don't look huge at first, but you can pack a lot in there. I think that's all that we have.
Yeah, feel free to leave comments for us about any questions you may have on the 2020 tab. We'll try and answer along the way.
Yep. And we're going to have more project videos, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.